All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up and participating once again. Before I get started with my actual welcome, I want to encourage you to be extremely active in the chat. The chat, just think of the chat as like the hip happening place to be. Share your information, say hello to old friends, new friends, drop some links about some things that you might have going on with your groups or your organizations. Or if you have classes coming up, or if you have something fun that you want to share, just make sure you drop it in the link. And just like Ed said, if you got this invite some other way than us actually sending it to you, we love that. Welcome. But please put your information in so that you can get further information from us about anything dealing with the Youth Drone Initiative or even the CTI program. Now that that's out of the way, welcome. Thank you for coming and thank you for all of your support. It's what I love most about this community, that people always show up for each other, that we are here and we realize that there's space for each of us and that there's things that each of us can contribute. So I hope that you'll find something informative here. I hope that you'll have fun and you'll enjoy yourself while you're here. The presentations that are coming up, they'll be here quite soon. But what I really want to do is put a little bug in your ear and tell you a little bit about Drone Safety Day, because that is coming up April the 25th, 2026. And I want to encourage you to either create some virtual content or to do like maybe a social media live or have an actual event. And don't hesitate to reach out to your local drone pro. And with that being said, we have a local celebrity guest speaking today. Her name is Diana Robinson. You all know her and love her, and I miss her so much, but I'm glad she's here, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the Drone Pros. Over to you, Diana.
Celebrity guest, that's really pushing it there, Venus. But it's so good to be here. I had someone recently tell me that I flunked retirement. Some of you may know, others maybe don't. I did leave on the deferred retirement from the FAA, traveled a little, have went to a lot of ball games, also learning new things. I reorganized my office into kind of a sewing craft room. So I'm doing all the things. And so now I am, and I had thought about this before I left, I'm actually working with the National Center for Autonomous Technologies, which is who is recording and hosting today's meeting. And I'm excited about that because I'll still get to engage a lot with Venus. I saw that Jennifer's in the call, Ed Cormier, who is the new program manager for the UAS Collegiate Training Initiative program. And so it's just this really wonderful opportunity for me to not be working full time, but doing things that I really, really love. So exciting about that. So speaking of NCAT, they have a wonderful website. If you're not familiar with them, I'll drop some uh, website addresses in the chat for you, but they have a great resource library where you can get information. They have curriculum, just a lot of really exciting things that you can go to and grab those resources. One of the things, though, I want to tell you about this time of the year, for the past couple years, we had meetings with Mentor Connect. Some of you may have been in the meeting last year, and Mentor Connect works with the National Science Foundation, Advanced Technologies Education, and their annual grant is coming up again. If you're not familiar with that, I think it's due the first Friday in November. So please go in, take a look at their website. You can go to Mentor Connect's website. Again, I'll drop some of these in there for you so that you will have that opportunity to grow your programs, whether you're, elementary school, high school, junior college, major university. You absolutely have those opportunities. And the National Science Foundation, we call it NSF-ATE, they're actually having a conference in Washington coming up. Well, who knows with what's been going on today. with the shutdown, but hopefully that will still be happening. They really do focus on enhancing technician education in those high technology fields, and they have the money to give out. So don't think you can't be a recipient, because many of you in the past have been. Next slide. Another thing that, or another opportunity out there for you all, is there's a scholarship that we actually announced it at Exponential in Houston. Rebecca Lehman with Drone Deploy was really the brains behind this wonderful scholarship that will pay for the Part 107 test, because sometimes that's not an easy thing for young people, and it's ages 16 to 24. These are for students who want to build their careers, alongside this great cutting edge technology. And so you have this opportunity. I'll throw this in the chat as well, where you go to, but you can look it up. It's Elevate Scholarship. So don't miss out on that. Also, next slide. After I retired, I became a drone pro. If some of you may be drone pros, and what is a drone pro? They're actually volunteers to the FAA with drone expertise. And what our role is to really help with drone education. And I tell you all this because they are located all across the country. They love to get involved. They're encouraged to get involved, whether it's your events, talking to your classes, your clubs, whomever. To be able to find these folks is just a great thing. And I'm still working with Palomar College, their introduction to GIS students, every semester update with the new drone pros. And if any are no longer a drone pro, we remove them. But just know that that is available, and it can be found on the FAA safety.gov site. At the very top of the screen. I think you can go to the next slide, and maybe on there actually, Venus. Yeah, there we go. You can actually go to this website, and it's a scrolling, a lot of different websites under hot topics, but you will land on Drone Pro. And when you go to that, it takes you to an Esri map that these students create. And then you can just click around, find like your area, or if you have an event somewhere else and you want them to, come and join you, you have their email, and I'm sure they'd be happy to participate. Next slide. So Ed, who is now running the UAS Collegiate Training Initiative Program, was actually a STEM aviation and space education representative in the New England area. The FAA has different engagement regions across the country. I'd mentioned a drone pro is external folks. Some of you may be interested in becoming a drone pro. They always are looking to grow that program. But there's also an internal program within the STEM AVSED program, and they're called outreach representatives. Venus and I both were, well, when I was with the FAA, and she are outreach representatives. And it's similar. We have that expertise in drones, and we will come to your event. We're tied to the region that we are located in. So for me, it's Southern region. But just know that that program is also available to you for those resources and people who can come and share with you. And that's what this is all about, making things happen for you, finding the right people. And so looking forward to my new role with NCAT, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I will also throw my email in here. But when I move on, I'm going to put a lot of websites into the chat for you. And that's all, Venus.
Thank you so much, Diana. I encourage each of you to think about becoming a drone pro. And if you do decide to have, I forgot to mention this, but if you do decide to have an event for Drone Safety Day, I'll be happy to mail out stickers and printables for you to print out to have at your event. So outside of my Youth Drone Initiative duties and my Drone Safety Day duties and helping Ed with CTI when I can, I have another project called Know Before You Fly. With funds granted to us for this educational vehicle from Congress, we are able to spread the drone gospel, as I like to say, across the nation. And we've partnered with I want to get this right, the Association for Uncrewed Vehicle Systems International, AUVSI, and the Consumer Technology Association, CTA, and also the Academy of Model Aeronautics, AMA, to do many wonderful things. We've created some PSAs, both written and videos, and we've done a bunch of things, but I don't want to steal any of their thunder. So I'm going to introduce Kyle and Emily, who are both from AMA, and they'll tell you about some things that we're doing together and some things that they have going on. Kyle, Emily.
Thank you so much, Venus. We're happy to be here. And you see it right there, who we are. So, my name is Kyle Jarris. I represent the Academy of Model Aeronautics. A little bit about me. I've been flying a mix of UAS recreationally for almost 4 decades, which is kind of scary. I've got operational experience in Part 103. I fly as a paramotorist. And of course, I've got my 107 certificate, and I've had that since around 2022. I also consult. I do some consulting for multiple eVTOL airframes. I've been a test pilot for some of them, which is a whole nother story in and of itself, but I'm really excited to be here.
I'm Emily Rice. I work with Kyle at AMA. I have been doing STEM educational programming for almost 20 years, with about the last 10 years focused on drones and other model aircraft. They are a wonderful and engaging tool for teaching and learning. If you're here in this session, then you probably already know that. And I love it.
And as far as who the AMA is, who the Academy of Model Aeronautics is, we're the nation's largest community-based organization for model aviation enthusiasts. We've been around for over 85 years and have been dedicated to advancing model aviation as a hobby, as a sport, and as an educational activity. We promote the incredible opportunities in aviation career pathways for Americans.
As Venus mentioned, we are really proud to collaborate with the FAA on drone outreach through the Know Before You Fly initiative. And that's why we're here talking to you today. Next slide, please. All right, so we actually have 2 separate opportunities to share with you today. And these are both opportunities for you to request free resources, including drone equipment and curriculum for your students. So we're happy to share that with you. We'll be starting with a program that's geared towards younger students, the Discovery Drone. And then we'll discuss a more advanced competitive program for middle and high schoolers called UAS for STEM.
And next slide, please. So the Know Before You Fly Discovery drone kits. It's all about the promotion of safe and responsible drone operations. The AMA is one of 4 aforementioned organizations that have come together to create and promote this content through the Know Before You Fly website and communication strategies. As part of the Know Before You Fly campaign, the FAA obviously recognized the need for high quality, hands-on experiences for younger students, specifically in this case for the 8 to 12 age range. And the AMA has had that opportunity to develop this kit for these students. And this kit isn't just about flying. It's really about learning. It uses the promise of flight kind of as a carrot to incentivize the engineering and the real problem solving that this material covers. It's fun, but it's also educational. And this serves as an initial touch point with drone technology. We call it the Discovery Drone Kit.
The kits are made available by the federal government, as Venus mentioned, and they are able to be requested nationwide at no cost to you. We'll tell you a little bit more about how to send that request later. Those requests are considered based on a lot of different factors, and then the kits are shipped out to selected recipients. Again, it's federally funded, so it's free of cost to you. We do want to share some of the basics about the kit, starting with the audience. Again, these kits are for students age 8 to 12. but they aren't just for classrooms. They're also for learning outside of school through other youth organizations too. And I noticed we have representatives from a lot of those here.
Next slide, please. So here you see what's in the box, right? So of course you get the drone and all the components for that. It's small, it's durable. It comes with the frame, the motors, the propellers, of course, the flight controller. And hey, we even included batteries, which is pretty awesome. It's really built to be hands-on in terms of the engineering principles that go into this kit. We recommend students work in pairs. Those students assemble the drone themselves, and the process is empowering. Students connect the motors, attach the propellers, and they see how these components really work together. It takes a lot of the mystery out of the technology, and instead it turns it into tangible engineering lessons. The part that I really like about it, though, is that it's got a lot of opportunities to customize and add creativity to the whole process. The frame is kind of a blank canvas, and students can certainly decorate it. And Emily and I have seen some really cool examples of those customized drones. But perhaps more importantly, the students really practice their engineering skills. They're able to adjust the components to meet the needs of the lesson that they're going over. And this provides a sense of ownership and pride in their creation and really in their problem solving.
Yes, this drone kit has been designed from the ground up for educational use. It's built to be indoors, so the drone is lightweight and there are prop guards. So you can fly it in a classroom or a gym and use it year round, which is really lovely. Even with that being the case, there is information provided about how to operate safely and legally within the national airspace. That type of education is part of the goal of the kits, so it's definitely included. Another thing that I think is really wonderful about these kits is that they are have excellent support available. They're manufactured by Pitsco Education, and you're never on your own if you run into a challenge. You can reach out to them for help, but also if you need to order spare parts. Okay, next slide, please. All right. So a drone just by itself is a lot of fun, but a drone with an integrated lesson plan is a really powerful tool for teaching and learning. We worked with classroom educators to develop a comprehensive lesson plan that aligns with the Next Gen Science standards for this kit. It includes activities like a payload delivery challenge. That's just one of the things, though.
Yeah, some of the other things, right? The learning doesn't really stop at that challenge. These kits may be the first time that the educators have used drones, though, and we want those educators to feel comfortable. To that end, we've developed resources that help them feel confident and, of course, be competent to lead their students through the experience. You may be asking, what resources are there? Well, you see a few of them on the screen here. It includes a build video, webinars for educators, and even a student-focused video that covers so much great material in a fun way. We even developed challenge cards that educators are able to customize, and that adds kind of a gaming element for the students, but also for those teachers. It's a lot more fun to have a game in the classroom than just a lesson plan, right? Next slide, please. Okay, now this is the important part. You need to get your request in soon. We're going to be distributing all these kits before the end of November. To submit a request for these free kits, you need to visit knowbeforeyouFly.org. You can move over to the resources section and select the Discovery Drone Kit from that menu. Or you can, of course, use your mobile device and apply for kits with that QR code that you see on your screen right now.
I've also just put the link to that page in the chat, so you can find it there as well. And I do want to mention there is a limited supply of the kits, and there are a lot of factors that determine how we're distributing them. So submitting a request is fairly quick and easy, but I want to be clear that it doesn't guarantee that you'll receive kits, but your request will be considered among all of the others that are received as well. So please submit your requests. We will review them. And if you're selected as a potential recipient, we'll be in touch. All right. I think we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So that was the Discovery Drone Kit. We do have, as I mentioned, another opportunity for you to apply for funding that includes drone equipment. We're going to tell you about the program and then how to request that funding. This is an educational drone engineering competition for middle and high school students called UAS for STEM. There are a lot of great drone competitions out there. In fact, several of our teams participate in multiple drone challenges, but we think UAS for STEM is unique, and we're going to tell you why. It offers students ages 11 through 19, again, middle and high school, the chance to design, build, program, and fly a small UAS.
Cal, you're on mute.
Yep, you're muted, sir.
It had to happen at some point. They're actually vacuuming in the hallway. I was trying to be nice. Well, I was just going to say that, these kits are really awesome in that in many cases, the students are actually sourcing their own individual components based on the design parameters that they see and that we provide to them. They're building, they're programming, and they're even learning to fly these complex UAS really from the ground up, if you'll pardon the pun. They master the hands-on fabrication, systems integration, and autonomous programming. UAS for STEM is really AMA's career pipeline into the aviation industry, and we're cultivating the next generation of STEM leaders. Next slide, please.
Okay, so how do our students develop all of those skills? UAS for STEM is a team-based challenge. Teams of 4 to 10 students are tasked with a mission that's based on a real-world scenario. This could be a search and rescue operation, a delivery mission, or something like an infrastructure inspection. The students have to engineer, build, program, and fly their UAS to successfully complete the objectives of the mission each season.
And as we mentioned, it's really not just about the flight. These students must complete a Part 107 training course, and that's going to prepare them to safely integrate their UAS operations into the NAS. Students also conduct a flight readiness review. It's a technical presentation where teams really present their design, their strategy, and their safety protocols to a panel of judges. And it really functions just like any other professional proposal.
Most teams don't have to travel for UAS for STEM. We know that travel is costly and can be difficult to organize, especially for students who are juggling jobs, school, sports, volunteering, family stuff. So teams are able to meet, build their drone, and practice the mission wherever they live. To create a more cost-conscious program, we even host our preliminary competition virtually. For that virtual competition, students submit a proof of flight video that shows their drone is airworthy and can operate safely. Then they log in to present their flight readiness review live to a panel of judges. They also show their ability to program autonomous flight missions using ArduPilot Mission Planner.
And so after that virtual preliminary scoring is completed, we actually announce the top teams from both the beginner and the advanced divisions. And this is where there's an opportunity to travel and compete in person, which we feel like is an important part of any competition. So these top performing teams, they're invited to the championship, which is hosted by the Experimental Aircraft Association, that's EAA, during AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. They're provided with free campsites and free passes to the entirety of AirVenture while they compete. The award ceremony is also held in front of thousands of attendees just prior to the Wednesday night air show. And being at AirVenture really does ensure that these students have such a great chance to learn all about aviation opportunities. Our competitors exemplify really the best of that generation, and our volunteer judges repeatedly express how much seeing these kids and seeing what they do ignites their hope in the future. It's a really, really amazing opportunity to witness.
Next slide, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the value of this program is really in the skills the students walk away with. We actually have maybe two distinct but both equally important categories of learning. The first is the hard technical skills that are directly relevant to careers in UAS. The students aren't just assembling a kit, they're learning how the components and the systems integrate and how to repair and maintain and upgrade them. Also, through our partner, SimNet, participants can earn certification on Mission Planner software, and that's used in the industry for programming automated flight. UAS for STEM also constantly reinforces the principles of safe and legal flight. It is the perfect training ground for students who want to earn their Part 107 remote pilot certificate. They acquire the knowledge and the operational experience to do that through our program.
Yeah, and we mentioned this before, but I'm going to reiterate. UAS for STEM students really do exhibit the profound growth in other professional skills. And some of these skills include resilience. These students are going to face challenges. They're going to crash their drone during a test flight. They might encounter a software bug or struggle with their team dynamics. And really, learning to troubleshoot, rebuild, and persevere through these challenges might be the most valuable lesson that they learn. They're also going to be dealing a lot with project management. They've got to manage their deadlines. They've got to manage that budget. And of course, the complex goals that we provide to them within the challenge. And they learn to organize these tasks. They manage their time and they work collaboratively under pressure as a high functioning team. Another aspect that we really drive home is the communication and the public speaking. Presenting to judges and teachers, it really helps them to articulate their complex ideas clearly and confidently. It's a skill that's essential in all professions. Next slide, please. There we are. So after hearing all this, you might be thinking, boy, that sounds like a cool competition, but is it something that I can realistically do, right? Well, we think the answer is absolutely yes. We've designed this program to be accessible for motivated educators and students.
Yes, the process to get started is actually pretty simple. Any trusted adult can be a team manager or an assistant team manager. You'll need to gather 4 to 10 interested students. You have to have at least 4, maximum of 10 per team. Teams can represent a school, but they don't have to. We have community teams, as well as teams that are representing other organizations like Civil Air Patrol, Engineering Explorers, and scouting groups. Registration opens in the fall. In fact, it's open right now. And the moment you register, your journey in that program is going to begin.
Yeah, and it's important that we talk about cost, right? We really do believe in transparency. So the registration fee for that team is $1,495 for a domestic team. You'll also need to purchase things that first year, like the drone components and other associated equipment like laptops, soldering stations, some miscellaneous tools, that sort of thing. So we try to make that very clear for our new teams as they come in. Now, the nice thing is, of course, opportunities sometimes cost a little bit more money. If the team does really well, which we certainly hope they do, there's also going to be that potential for some travel costs that are associated with it.
We know those costs can be a barrier. That's why the AMA Foundation offers grants specifically for new UAS for STEM teams to get started. You can apply for funding that will cover almost all of your registration fee and includes the drone equipment. We're really committed to ensuring that every determined team has the opportunity to participate. Please do not let the cost deter you from exploring the competition and applying for financial assistance. You can do this at uasforstem.org. We'll put this in the chat as well. On the front page of the site is a button to apply for funding. The form is not lengthy, but I'm going to recommend that you do it when you have access to a keyboard. You probably won't want to fill it out on your phone. Very important that we tell you the deadline to apply for funding for this season is October 13th. So there's still a couple weeks to look into the program, decide if it might be right for you and your students, and get that application in. We would love for everyone who's interested to submit an application so that we can consider you.
Absolutely. Next slide, please. And again, there's that link. New funding is available. It really is a direct investment in your students and the future of the aviation industry. Check out that website for more information. We've got new team guides. We've got information for new teams. There's a whole segment of our website that can help you. And I'd just like to close in this section with a little anecdote from me. It's one of the best parts of this competition is the sustainability. I get to see students come back year after year as parts of teams, and they demonstrate increased competency and communication skills. It's awesome to see these students grow. They start out as kind of quiet, shy, not sure what they're doing on this team, but they're figuring it out. And after enough experience, they become the leaders in their teams, and they become their peer mentors and people who are ready to tackle big challenges and have proven that they can. It's really amazing.
Yeah, seeing that growth in the students is incredibly rewarding. And I also want to mention, though, we love to ask our students, our student competitors, what their favorite part of the competition is. And almost without exception, they say that they love flying something that they built themselves with the new friends that they've made on their team. That's what they love, is building something and seeing it take to the sky, and forming those new friendships with their peers, their teammates.
Next slide real quick. And thank you. We're happy to answer any questions you might have at whatever time it's appropriate, but we really genuinely appreciate this opportunity to share these opportunities with you. So
Thank you so much, Emily and Kyle. I would say that one of the best part of my job is a lot of different things, but one of my favorite parts is the drone kits, and that we're putting drones in the hands of children and teaching them so many things. And hopefully they'll learn that they'll be able to make a reasonable wage and to help support their families. I've always said, and I still want to say it again, that I would like to get drones in the conversation of what do I want to be when I grow up? Well, I want to be a drone pilot of some sort, along with doctors and lawyers and firefighters. I would love for this to be a part of that kind of a conversation. And one of the reasons that I pushed really hard to have this particular date is because I knew that funding deadline was coming up, and I wanted to make sure that you heard all of this so that you all will have time to put in for that. 2 weeks seems like a long time. It is not a long time. I hope that you hurry up and get that in there. And then thank you again, Callan and Emily. I hope you'll stay around and kind of go through the chat, talk to people while you're here. So my favorite part, or my second favorite part of these meetings, is that I want to hear from you. So if you all would just use the raise your hand feature, and if you have something you want to say or ask, this is the time. Anybody, any comments, questions? All right, go ahead.
Hello, yes, my name is Carlos Veras. I am with the FAA. I am an outreach representative. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to see the presentation because I am on the road, but I want to ask if it is possible to get access to the presentation afterwards.
Absolutely. Once our lovely friends at NCAT post it, I'll be sending out links to everyone who's on the call.
That's great. I don't know if I didn't provide an email address. As I said, I'm on the phone, but
well, if you're in the FAA, you can find me on Teams, right? And I'll be sure that you get one.
Perfect. What's your name again?
My name is Venus, like the planet, N like in Nancy, but not Nancy, Thompson. So Venus.N.Thompson.
Excellent. Okay, I'll be reaching out to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the first hand I saw was, I think, Dominique, S. Dominique.
Okay, I'm here. Hi.
Hey.
Let me lower my hand. So, first of all, thank you. This was a really great presentation, and I do have to say that I'm a director at a public school in New York, and I don't know anything about drones, but I see the value in having drones in education. So, the district that I'm in, we have a lot of opportunities to be able to give students opportunities to use the drones. And what I would love to be able to see is like my high school students even graduating with like licenses to be able to fly drones and get jobs, either in, various capacities in the community, whether it be assisting with the police department, assisting with marketing, photography, all these different things. So my challenge is where is the best way, or what is the best way to be able to start getting this off the, out of pretty much getting them out of the boxes? Because what I am fearing is I don't know what kind of compliance issues or what kind of things that I need to know before I actually go ahead and implement it. So that's one of the things that I don't know who to talk to when it comes to that. I've talked to my local BOCES. I'm not in New York City, so I know New York City has a different way of doing things than the rest of New York. But yeah, any insight on that would be helpful. I did see the drone kits for the for the students that are 8 to 12, which is phenomenal. So I definitely applied for that already. But any insight on that would be great. So if anyone has anything, please let me know.
So the first thing I would tell you to do is talk to your local drone pro. Diana's presentation, she dropped some links in the chat so that you can find your local drone pro. That's a great place to start. If anyone else has some suggestions, jump right in.
Thank you. I see some people sending me messages, and I totally appreciate that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
So
Yeah,
I
I
would
just
certainly,
wanna
reach
say-
out to your FAA STEM outreach representative in the Eastern region, Miss Olivia. I see Tiffany over there. She's our Great Lakes region person, but certainly Miss Olivia can help
Is
you
that
out
the
there.
same for Hudson Valley? Just asking. I know not everybody knows the regions in New York, but
She covers the 7 states in the New England in the Eastern region.
Got it.
So from New York to DC.
Oh,
And
okay.
on top of that, I just posted in the chat for those who want to know how to contact and reach the FAA STEM AFSET team. And it breaks out, if you click on that link, you'll see where we're all located in the states and everything like that we cover. So as I said, I am from the Great Lakes region, but Olivia's amazing. She'll definitely be able to help you out.
I definitely will be reaching out. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. David? David, can you hear me? You're on mute if you're trying. There you go. There you go. Oh, you put it back on mute. There you are. Talk now. Nope. David. Does anyone else have anything they want to say or ask at this time? While David's figuring out his mute button.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now? I apologize.
Yes.
It was
Yes,
a
gotcha.
multiple monitor issue, so I've just gone down to my laptop now. So my question is there any word on when SOC codes will come for UAS pilots? I heard it was going to be a thing. This was probably last year or something. And this would probably help with momentum behind these initiatives and stuff, because right now this position under the Bureau of Labor Statistics is listed with like airline pilots or manned aircraft pilot jobs, for instance. And I heard it was just going to separate at some point. I'm wondering if there's any knowledge on that.
So we have some work groups that are working on just that very thing. Diana, when she was on board with us, was leading that particular effort. I don't believe that we can do anything about that until 2028. If I'm right about that date, Diana, pipe in. But we have some really knowledgeable CTI members of a work group that are working to trying to get some things. I think it's going to go off a public comment first, and then you'll get to go in and say what you think about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
thank you so
actually
much.
modified a few job classifications, and then this past August is when we posted out for comment, and people were going in and actually doing that. And I think we were waiting to hear back. Everything takes time, but to have a new position, David, it just is not a fast process, but it is in the works. Because you're right, that was the first thing we learned when we started the Collegiate Training Initiative was the lack of job data due to not having SOC codes for certain positions, but it is in the works.
Awesome. I
It's a slow
appreciate the
process.
comments back. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Is there anyone else?
Oh, I had one question. If we were to buy a drone, like through a grant, and is there a certain curriculum that we can use to, like, I guess, teach it? And I was looking at the FAA is at the 107. I know there's a cost, but, like, is there, like, for a teacher trying to teach this? I'm a criminal justice teacher, and so there's so many uses for drones in public safety. And I'm just trying to find a good, I guess, lesson plan where I can teach them step by step. And a lot of stuff you got to pay for, but before I pay for something, I want to know that it's a good lesson plan. You know, I didn't know what type of resources are out there that I can start implementing this in my classroom.
So that's
Yes, some of this-
exactly what our National Center for Autonomous Technologies, the
Mhm.
Start a Drone program right there. That is a great place to start. It has curriculum resources. And then we have all those colleges, over 100 colleges that are in the UAS CTI program that have drone programs from certificate, continuing education, up through, bachelor's programs. And we're here to connect you with those folks. So certainly starting at the NCAT site there is the
Okay.
place to start. And then any questions along the way, we're here to help.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
And if anyone else that's on the call has some other suggestions, drop it in the chat. He may not be the only person that's looking for something like that.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you to all the presenters. I'm Jennifer Audette, branch manager of this outreach group for the FAA. But thank you so much to all the presenters. It's good seeing you again, Diana. And a special shout out to Venus and Ed because they did a lot of preparation for this and they're so excited and have so much passion. So yeah, feel free to reach out to any of us anytime. And there's also the FAA's UAS Support Center. They are a very knowledgeable group of I guess we have 5 guys now that are working in there. They have over 125 years of aviation experience. They're very spot on. So if you have a question this week, ask it until Friday at noon, because then we don't know when we're going to be open again. But they're on our budget, our timeline too with the shutdown. So, but they're great. If you Google FAA UAS Support Center, and they're easy to find. You can call them, you can email them. Very, very responsive.
Very responsive, right?
And I want to echo that what Jennifer said is that we are here to help you out. We want you to call us before there's a problem. We will answer the same question 17 times and with a smile on our face. If there's something we can help you out with at the local level, at an elementary school, to the high school level, up through college, local piece, please let us know how we can help you before you step across the line.
And we love talking drones all the time. I know my kids get annoyed. Anywhere I go, if I can start a conversation on drones, I will.
Absolutely. And from the AMA's perspective, if I can jump in, we'll be around, not on the weekend, but anytime throughout the week, you can call us. I'm happy to talk about drones, happy to share resources, not just ours, of course, but like there's so many great educational opportunities, people who care, who want to see students succeed and have free resources available to make that happen. So.
I see a question in the chat about educator education. And certainly through the FAA, we support several summer camps across the country, aviation career education, ACE camps. You can find those on the FAA's website. We partner with those colleges. They do educator days as well. So if you can't find something, let us know and we'll find some way to make it happen.
Do you have an update on the Aviation Workforce Development Grant?
That is outside of our branch that we do,
Well-
but we're hopeful that they're going to come around again next year.
Yeah, so our last Youth Drone Initiative, we had someone presenting about that. I do not have an update, but I can reach out and try to get you an update. I don't know, I don't know what it'll be, but I can try to find out the latest and greatest.
Thank you. I'll send you an email.
Thank you very much. That'll help me remember. Appreciate that more than you really know. Any more questions or comments?
I had a question about registering our school district as a, what is it, a FRIA? So I think I'm overthinking the entire process, but mostly like I know that it said that we had to be exact to like 4 decimal places of latitude and longitude, and I don't know how close that is, I guess. Like, can I just go to Google Maps and like map out our area and that's good enough?
Yeah, so I can probably speak to that a little bit. My name's Alex. I've done a few of the FRIAs from the FPV Freedom Coalition side of things. And for that, yes, you'll go to Google Maps and you select the borders that you want on Google Maps. I like to just save all the points to whatever you want to call your FRIA in like a little thing on Google Maps. And then I'll go through and enter the coordinates, because Google Maps will go to maybe like 8 or 10 decimals, and you only need that first 5 decimals. So I just copy the first ones, and I just round whatever it is and enter it in to the application. I believe you have to do it clockwise or counterclockwise. I think you have to enter them clockwise.
Yeah.
It'll tell you if it's not clockwise, and you just re-enter it the other way around.
Okay.
And then the application will show you on a map that's there where those boundaries are going to be on the FAA's map.
Okay.
And that gives you a idea of that your points that you're entering of where they're going to be. And you just have to fly within those boundaries. So if you make it a little bit larger and you're flying within them, you shouldn't have to really worry exactly where those boundaries are. You just stay within those boundaries.
Okay. So I guess one of my concerns is that like we are a very rural district, and so it's mostly just woods in the back of our school.
So that should be a pretty easy application. And
like, is it harder because I don't know where the edge of this district is? Like, I don't know where the edge of the school property is.
So it doesn't have to be within the exact school property. Just if you know the area that you're going to fly in, just keep it to that area. You don't have to make it the entire property area.
Okay, so if I keep it like within.
So if you have a specific field that you're, yeah, exactly. If you have a field that you're going to fly in on the school property, just set it up as that field and maybe a little bit of the space surrounding that field in case you go out of it, in case one of the drones has an issue.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't have to do the entire property. Just take a section that you know you're going to continue to fly in. And if later you determine that you'd like to expand your FRIA boundaries, you can update your application to request a boundary change to extend it later on.
Okay. All right. And I assume if because we have like 2 campuses, we have a high school campus, elementary school campus, 2 separate FRIAs, 2 applications.
Yes.
Okay.
2 applications.
All right. I think that's all my questions. Thank you.
Have a strong safety plan in place, of course. And I think the biggest thing when applying for FRIAs is there's not too much information, like what Alex was sharing with you about placement, what you're going to say as far as mapping, but, just don't assume that they're going to know. Be sure and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And the reason that came to mind, we even had schools that were applying like for their stadium. Well, when you go in and read, it was saying, because you have events, so you can't fly over. At that point, it was like, you can't be flying over the people.
Right.
It was like, then they had to go back and say, we will be flying there when there's not an event going on. See,
Right.
just the details is what they want.
They're looking for
Okay.
safety mitigation, yes.
Okay.
And also, it doesn't sound like this is going to be an issue with you, but make sure that if you've got any parking lots or any roads or anything like that, that you reference that and talk about those risk mitigations. Or if you're not actually going to be flying anywhere near those, don't include them in those boundaries, because we've seen a lot of those reports getting kicked back for further conversation when they include those sorts of things.
Okay.
And I was going to point out as well that having folks like AMA as a community-based organization, they are one of the approved CBOs, and they can really help get you through those pieces of, do you need a FRIA, or what is it that you're actually trying to accomplish, and what are you doing? So certainly, AMA is a great partner with that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mr. Romaine.
Hi guys, I was actually gonna piggyback off of that. When the FRIA stuff first came out, I had applied for that, and then our school district shut it down for the fear of having to let other people on campus to fly, or having people see that as a place to fly and having other people fly. Is that an issue, or what is there something I can put in the paperwork to say it's limited to students or staff?
So I might be able to speak to that a little bit. And so what a FRIA does is it is a place where anyone can fly within the boundaries of it, where remote ID on the aircraft is not required. However, that doesn't prevent the people who own the property from limiting people into those boundaries. So that's kind of how you'll get AMA clubs or different clubs. They'll have their own private flying fields, but you'd still need a membership to fly in those FRIAs. You can't just go into the FRIA because otherwise you could then be trespassed from ground type stuff. But the FRIA is essentially just anyone who's within that property area can fly within, but you can still control who goes in and out of that property area.
Okay, and
From the
that's what
ground.
I thought.
not
I
from-
just now I'm assuming I could just get a hold of one of the FAA help emails, but that was the pushback that I got from furthering the application for that, was the worry for that.
Could you repeat that, please?
Oh, I just said, is there anybody else that I could contact
Oh,
to get some further information in order to have that in writing? Because like I said, the school district shut down. There was 3 teachers that were trying to get that approved, and they didn't want them to further that, and that was definitely a roadblock.
I would say contact our help desk.
Okay.
I believe someone, Jennifer, I don't know if someone dropped it in the chat, but we'll drop it in the chat for you so that you can send them an email. If you can do it before Friday, then it's possible you'll get a response back. Really, they're very responsive. They actually respond. She said that you can Google it, but we'll try to drop something in the chat so that you can get directly there.
And
Okay.
Ron, there was a whole team, so there are different people that would be happy to talk to you within the FAA. But yeah, send a message to that UAS help at faa.gov.
Okay.
There it is. It's right there in the chat, right at the very bottom for you now. Thank you so much. Infinity Aero Club, Tampa Bay.
Yes, hi. Thank you, Venus. This question is for the FAA. I have 2 questions and one for industry. And a little bit about us. We've been doing exposure of kids to aviation, STEM, and entrepreneurship for the last 5 years, impacted over 200,000 kids worldwide. And my question for the FAA is, what metrics of success are you all using to measure this impact, student participation, certifications, and career transition? That's one question. And the second is, how can nonprofits like Infinity Aero Club align with FAA's equity and access goals, especially for underserved communities? Because that's one of the communities we serve globally.
Well, I'll see if someone on the online can answer your question about the metrics that we use. These kinds of meetings that we hold is not really typically the kind of metrics that people are looking for. They're looking for numbers. And we really are just looking for a very meaningful conversations and impacts and people getting the things that they need. If you have a club, if joining the Youth Drone Initiative is one of the best ways to kind of, for lack of a better term, align with us, to stay in the know, to stay in the loop, to find out the latest and greatest in a timely fashion, to get connected to other people across the country. Is there anyone else online that might can help him with different ways that success is being measured?
So I just dropped in the chat the 5-year review that Diana did such a great job putting together, the 5-year review of the CTI program. And then certainly the STEM Asset program also has a nice review that's out there on the website as well. Ed, this is all, all new technology. We're all working on the same stuff together, but we're passionate. We're here to help you guys out. And the more you get out of it, what you put into it.
Great. Well, thank you for that. And the next question, Rizal, are anyone here in the industry seeing the drone program pipeline into credentials, paid internship, and employment? What are you seeing out there? If anyone has any success stories, can you just share, please? Thank you.
I mean, I can jump in. Oh, go ahead, Emily.
Well, I was actually going to ask if you have a little bit more specific example of what you might be looking for as far as success stories. Are you looking for like a case study of a student who
Yeah,
participated?
what are you guys seeing as far as certifications? Because I know here we help our kids get their Part 107, and then we work with other companies or some of our providers to give them paid internship towards employment. Are you all seeing any of that? Are you working with anyone specifically in industry, aerospace companies for internship for some of the graduates in your program?
Sure. So
Lloyd.
with our program, UAS for STEM, we are seeing some of our students who are earning their Part 107 having the opportunity to take on internships. We see our students sometimes choosing, like based on their experience that they get with drones through our program, some of them are changing what they decide to do as far as higher education, because they realize that they have a deep interest in something that they learned about within the program. We have been really fortunate to partner with Skydio for several seasons of our competition. They've been really supportive of our program, and we have had at least one of our participants has gone on to have an internship with them, and then that turned into a role with that company as an engineer. And so he's now moved on and started his own drone company. But we are grateful to have them. They provide equipment for our competition winners. So I think having those industry partnerships is it's a really privileged and great way to have access to what the needs of the industry are, but also to provide them what they need, which is skilled workers to join their company.
Great. Well, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And hey,
it sounds like you're doing great work too. So thank you.
I was gonna say, keep on with what you're doing. And if you want to chat, feel free to email us outside of this. We'd love to have a conversation.
I'm happy you mentioned that. I will. And I'm happy that someone rogered up about the FAA grant. I've applied twice, the FAA workforce grant. So we're highly anticipating, hopefully the FAA comes out with some kind of our results. So thank you. I appreciate everyone here. And if anyone is in Tampa, we're here. We have a facility in Tampa out in Wesley Chapel area. We even have a history museum here as well. And I see my good friend Akil is here online as well. Thank you all.
And what was your name? I know you're with Infinity Aero Club, but what is your name?
Yeah, I am Lieutenant Commander Ricardo Foster, retired 28-year Navy veteran. And so,
were you at MacDill?
Yes, I retired with those green spec warfare guys out of MacDill. Absolutely. I retired after 28 years.
Yeah. MacDill. Awesome. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm Navy, but Air Force does it best. So stick with Air Force always.
You're not far from Orlando, right?
No, I'm right there. Actually, I'm with the Tuskegee Airmen Incorporated Central Florida Orlando chapter. So I'm always in Orlando. So I'm about 50 minutes from Orlando. So I get over there a lot.
I'm gonna be down in that area in a week and a half, so maybe I'll have to come swing by that way.
Yeah, I'll drop my number for and website in the chat here for y'all to come down. But we do have a museum. I have some planes out back. We take kids on discovery flights, and it's been a hoot. 5 years we've been doing this, reached over 200,000 kids, and now we're pushing for the next 5 years. Our plan is Flight Plan 2030 to reach 1 million kids in underserved communities, and that's just 1 million impacts. And what we're trying to do is expose 100 million to get that 1% throughput. So we're going to need everyone's help. And Akil has been there helping out as well. So he started a drone company and he came through our program. And I'm so happy to see him being an entrepreneur, working with kids in the Caribbean with us. So thank you so much. And I'll drop my contacts in chat.
Thank you. Akil.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be a part of the group. I've been part of Drone Initiative, I believe, for about 1.5 years now. I would like to say that was my mentor, Ricardo Foster. He's the one that re-inspired the passion of aviation back into myself. So I'll give him a success story. After I passed my 107 and became a drone pilot, I trained 5 people. 3 of which are in the Caribbean, 2 are with farming copters in Trinidad, and 2 are doing drone farming in St. Martin. So they literally took the training that we have. The only thing they have to do is pass the FAA, test, but they got the operation certificate from the FAA zone. And then they just kept practicing and training. I donated some drones to them. And, we now have a drone company in the Caribbean, and we provide the technicians out there. So we do a lot of farming, drone farm spraying, and a lot of surveillance and a lot of property surveillance as well. As well as we have a camp for 5-year-olds to 10-year-olds, teaching them the basics, hand-eye coordination, importance of teamwork, and how to use basic drones. We've had a successful camp in Atlanta for 3 weeks at the Boys and Girls Club, as well as Hamilton School in Hampton, Virginia. This is our first interim, just trying it out, and all of it was because of Mr. Ricardo Foster. I have as well passed my private pilot test as well. So I just have to pass my night flight, my cross country, and a couple more hours to go. So I'll give you a direct success story, and we are turning over more drone pilots as the industry. Like, I run an IT company by trade. I've been in business for 18 years. We do a lot of drone surveillance, roofing surveillance, and a lot of realtor properties, photography for a lot of real estate properties, and a lot of piers, a lot of docks. Where the industry is going, everything's going to be autonomous and run by drones. I was at the SOCOM event where everything was drone related. The guns were ran by a drone operator. The submarines were ran by drone operators. So the curriculum and the basics that are even being taught right now with aerial UASs will still apply to, the ground UASs and everything else that's coming. So this is the industry that I believe is going to take over everything else. And Ricardo, I would say I would thank you and appreciate you. And it's because of you that I'm in aviation, and that I found this group, and was the inspiration for my main program, which is Drone Soccer, where it's taken off all over the world. We just had our first national competition here in Tampa at the Lakeland Sun and Fun air show. We're supposed to have a winter classic in St. Martin, and we're about to plan for our next year at Sun and Fun as well. And basically, the drone soccer ball is a actual drone encased in a protective ball that, like Quidditch in the Harry Potter movie, you have to score it in a goal. And there's 5-on-5. It makes the kids, so interactive and engaged. They don't even look at their phone for hours. And that's the point, getting them back into the real world and not, into the social media, AI world. But, that was my little success story for him, so I could see his little smile,
Perfect. Well, we
Awesome.
love success stories. I'm going to throw in the chat here. The FAA does have a podcast, the Air Up There podcast. We're always looking for good news stories. We also have our own internal newsletters. And certainly, you guys, please, when you are out on your own social medias, tag the FAA in something.
I always
Hashtag
do.
Youth Drone Initiative. We are always excited for good news stories.
Appreciate it.
That's amazing. Akriel?
No, I said go ahead. I said I just appreciate it. That was my
Oh,
last.
I thank you so much. I thank you for your comment. Drone soccer is taking over the world. It is everywhere. We at a lot of our outreach events, we will have some drone soccer league will come and support and show the kids how to get it done. It's amazing to see. And when I mention it, when I go to outreach things, they're like, drone soccer, what in the world is that? And I
So
try to explain
crazy.
it.
It's so crazy. Well, one last thing. I have 2 major events coming up. The Mosley Museum invited me to present my drone soccer program on October 16th. If anyone is in the Tampa area, I'll be hosting a table there. We'll be doing some giveaways. There'll be some videos, some signups. We're really pushing for the 2026 season. We're actually trying to have our own Tampa team because we had teams from Portugal, teams from Puerto Rico, teams from Colorado, teams from California, but we had no Tampa teams. We had no Florida teams. We really didn't have much U.S. representation. So I'm trying to build a team here so that next year, when the competition comes, we actually have a local team as well. So we also have that, and the MacDill Air Force Base has approved me to be able to host one of their STEM events coming October 31st. So I'll also be hosting a table there. I'm a little overwhelmed at all this stuff, but they're helping to promote the drone soccer world. And Mr. Ricardo, I would love for you to be my co-host if you're available for those dates.
Akriel, make sure you drop that in the chat so that we can maybe send out some of the information to some of the people who couldn't actually make it. So put it in the chat so that
I'll share my email, and then I'll send everyone. If you could just contact me, I'll just shoot everyone an email. But I think I have your email. I never like to reply all because everyone is on there, and I don't really know everyone. So
don't do that. But if you drop the information there, then I can send it out to people, and it won't be so bad. We have time for one more comment or question before we let people go. Okay. Well, Ed, since you took over for Diana Emily, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to say that if you submitted a request for the Discovery drone kits, please keep an eye on your junk or your spam mail if you're looking for a reply. Unfortunately, that's where it's going a lot of the time. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Emily. Ed, since you are now the leader of the CTI, could you please give us closing remarks?
Yeah, so certainly, folks, thank you for giving up part of your evening, whether you're on the East Coast or the West Coast or all the way out in Alaska. We certainly appreciate everything you guys do. We are a small little team here at the FAA, and the force multiplier is you guys out there. So help us help you get out into those students and get them on the pathway for careers for drones. And whether they're going to come out of high school and get right to an apprenticeship or get to a 2 or 4 year college, we are here to help you all along the way. Thank you so much. And this is our full-time job. So if you have a question next week, you've got a question next month, you have our email address, and that goes, we have a shared inbox. So please feel free to email us there. And after we're done, again, the recording will be up on the NCAT website here in a couple weeks. So thank you to Kyle. Thank you to Emily for coming in, being one of our great FAA partners. Diana, thank you for coming around and sticking with us as we move through it. And a big thank you to Jennifer and the administrative team at the FAA for allowing us the time and opportunity and the resources to make all this happen. So thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
Yeah, and before we leave, I would like to say thank you specifically to Zach Blades and also to Megan Hall from NCAT. We love you. You do so much for us, and we just appreciate you so much. Have a great one, everybody. See you over email.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Have a good evening, everyone.